If you've watched the shorts, I got a series 2. Yeah, I've got a series 2. I know everyone wants a series 1, but fuck hell, I got a series 2. Anyway, should we go and have a look at it? You know, we did unload it up there, and I did bring it down here. And I've opened the doors and moved everything around so we can get a good video clip and explore this old girl together. So it's a series 2. F307's the reg. Yeah, she's a little crusty on the inside, but you can tell she's been stored for a long time. What we do with the bulkhead is really 6s and 7s. It's a hit and a miss. We're going to give her a good pressure wash down, get rid of all the crud, and then spray everything up with oil and WD-40 and just leave it to settle, and then it will go in a container until I get the garage built. But I do think, after closer inspection, we were kind of hoping it was just this bit that was rotten, but after closer inspection there is a few other bits gone. Obviously we've got to patch a few minor holes up, which I guess had body jobs done, but other than that it doesn't look too bad. We'll put some decent tyres on it for this run. I do have the hint of petrol, so I'm assuming it's still got petrol in the tank. God knows how old and whatnot, but what. So we probably won't be using any of that. Now I can't get the cap back on. The petrol does smell old, so but then I think you probably would too. So we've got to go around and look for some plates, see if we can get an age of this old girl. But anyways, she's not too bad. We've got a bit of oil seepage on the old gearboxio, but we'll strip it down. We'll pressure wash what we can, and we are literally going to strip this right down. If something works, we're not going to fix it, but other than that, we're going to do what we can. Might need to get a new tailpipe exhaust for it, because that looks a bit shorter than it should be. The chassis on this is actually pretty good. The back box is in extremely good condition. Would like to get the seat for that, but if not, we'll probably order a complete new lot of seats for it, or a upholstery kit. I don't have any of the seat bottoms, so we might end up having to order new seats for it, but hey ho, that's minor detail. Got water in there that we're going to get out, because we don't want that causing any long-term issues. The bulkhead has gone on the footwell down here. Well, it hasn't actually gone, but it's going to go. Like, it's considerably not too bad. Like, it is a bit rotten under there, but that is, if I remember rightly, it's just a plate. I think that goes in them. Another look-sees. Yeah, so it's just a plate that's riveted in, so it's just a case of taking that plate out, putting a new plate in. So yeah, not too bad considering. Wings don't look too bad. Very fixable, very cleaned up, very doable, which is always a good thing. The engine does turn over. I can turn it over by hand, by this. I had a look at it when I dropped it off, and it was sort of the first thing I'd done. Before we even attempt to start this old girl in any way or form, which getting to the starter motor is going to be a nightmare of a job. In fact, I don't think they thought that through very well, to be fair. We are probably going to have to just strip it down and see if we can run the engine in the chassis, because a lot of the wiring is very, very corroded, because it's the old school wiring. Fabric wrapped, and we don't want to have any major issues. But other than that, this is pretty good. It's got 35824, so I'm guessing that's 3,582 miles, or is that 35,000 miles? Even if we said 35,000 miles on the clock, that is not considerably all that bad. I get the feeling that belongs to this. So let's sort that out. Ooh. So yeah, it's considerably in good nick. Just the bulkhead, really, if anything. And even the bulkhead's not really deal breaker. Like, I was expecting the chassis to be quite bad. So I don't know if you've seen in my previous videos, old videos, but we had a blue 5-door 2.5 110 Defender. Well, the chap that got this, sorry about the loud noise, the chap that got this sort of didn't want this and wanted the 5-door, so he offered me a straight swap. So I decided to do it because he had thoughts of sending it to the UK for sale, and I feel that sending something like this to the UK with a bit of Falklands history is a bit of a shame, being that there's only probably about, I know of 2 that's on the road. That's about it, really. So it's sort of like, well, why send it away? So yeah, we're gonna have to sort out this hose, because I think that's gone a bit brittle. But you know, considerably, it's just yeah, I can't get over the condition. So every seal on this vehicle is leaking, which is to be expected, especially the door. But every seal is leaking, and underneath we might find a can of worms, but the tank is still semi-intact. But we'll probably take that off, clean that, probably get new springs for it, new seals for the diffs, rebuild all the back axles, and literally just do her right up so she's a nice reliable little car. Probably also sort this out, because I think this is semi stuck on, but at the moment it's good for towing. Front springs and shocks need replacing, swivel housing seals and swivel housings maybe. Engine needs a good overhaul. I'd say it probably needs some engine mounts while we're at it, because they look pretty squished and squashed. But you know, considering I can't see any major holes in the chassis, I say that I can't see any major holes at the moment. All brake lines are going to need replacing. So whether we use this chassis, oh, there's a hole in the chassis up there. So there is a hole in the chassis. We've got to make the decision on if we're getting a new bulkhead for it, if this one isn't patchable, which I think it's, well, everything is patchable. But if it's worth patching, like, because I want this to last a long time, whether we replace the chassis on it and just do it right the first time and make it last for grabbers. I like the old General grabbers. Good tyres, especially the 33. But we're going to put some 750s on her today. So the plan is to overhaul it and try and get her running back to her original condition. We're hoping to use the original engine and gearbox and as much original stuff as possible, but the electrical wiring harness, I think we'll probably try and get another wiring harness. I think, just for the sake of making it safe. Any ideas what this part plays? I always thought it was a brake switch that connected to the brake switch sort of system setup, but if it is, then I don't know how it works, because it's connected over there for starters, and I don't see no wires coming out of that section. I don't see none coming out of there. So how does that work then? How do you know when your brake's coming on and off? Because there's no switches in the brake pedal there. There's no wires coming from it anyway. Don't know on that one. So yeah, see how it goes. But can't complain. It's good. Got an old halo on top. That's what the old local people used to use for their 2 meters. Which you can't complain at that. So we're going to put 750s on it. For now, we're going to put the door in. The canvas is off a Bedford that dropped it off. This stuff here is all surplus to requirements, apart from obviously the pans that sit in there. But we're going to try and dry out this here. Give it a good pressure wash, give it a good clean, give this all a brush out, make sure there's nothing in here, and then we're going to go lubricate it up, change the wheel so it's got a nice running axle. Then we're going to make some space up in a container for it, and then we're going to put her in the container, because, well, she doesn't deserve the treatment of staying outside until she's in use. So, but I want to give her a good clean, get rid of all the rubble and rubbish, and just clean her up so I can literally I'm just going to douse it in WD-40 basically, as much as I can really. Yeah, we'll pressure wash it up, we'll leave it outside because the next couple of days is going to be nice, so it will hopefully dry off. We might see about trying to do something with the door maybe, don't know. Haven't really worked everything out yet. We've got a choke cable here, that doesn't seem to do much, don't know what that does. I don't know what much of anything does. So that's cold start, well that will be choke. What's that button down there do then? It's seized anyway. That might be engine stop maybe? I reckon that's engine stop. Oh no, it's a start button. That's one giant fucking solenoid, isn't it? That's what that is. That's what that is. That's one giant bloody solenoid. That's on that part of the bulkhead. That goes down there, so yeah. So how does that work then? One jumbo solenoid. There you go. So I guess you push that to start. Pretty cool. So if you want to see this old girl get done up rather sooner than later, then it's going to need funding. If not, it's then going to have to wait a while, because I've got a house to do. I've got that house to sort out. I've got the shearing shed to extend, garages to build, and sadly, this old girl isn't going to make me money, because I don't plan on getting rid of it. So I want to do her up. So hopefully next year we'll be able to get a bulkhead and chassis for it and go from there. Yeah, looking forward to getting it going. Just really looking forward to getting it going. It can take a while, a bit of cleaning up, but nothing that can't be sorted. In all fairness, I've bought worse vehicles than I've actually used. So, anyways, I will let you be. I'm going to go and see if I can clean out that water. Give us a nice big clean out. Pressure wash all the clay off underneath and have a good look at the chassis. And then the plan would be, I think, to let it dry out because it's a nice day, a bit of wind. And then go and spray everything up. And then go and store her in a container for now. So she's nice and loved. Because, well, I think she just is awesome. Yeah, looking forward to getting her done. So we're going to put these doors and all the good bits in the vehicle. This door does actually shut. We're going to get the battery grinder and we're actually going to cut off that window so it doesn't fall and break, because I've actually got the other window sitting under there, which is probably not the safest thing to do. Even though we'll probably buy new doors for her, because these are in a bit of a touchy way. But at the moment, this door is on, so we'll like to try and keep it on as much as possible. And yeah, go from there. So let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know what colour I should do it. I'd like to think about doing it this colour. The colour that she is. Does anyone know the code to that colour? Would be awesome. Let me know and we'll get it sorted. Also let me know, so with this all being blue, I'm assuming the sides and the roof were white, and I'm only going by this because of this. So what's white on the inside, I want to keep white on the outside, and what's blue, I'm going to paint everything else blue. I'm going to run 750s on her. I'm not going any bigger than that because she's not going to be used like they used to be years ago. And we'll put new springs on it, new shocks on it. But what type of tyre do you reckon would be best suited to it? I'm thinking I might put just standard Land Rover tyres on it. I call them standard anyway, but it's what mainly comes on Land Rovers. And just go from there. But yeah, let me know what you think. and we will go from there. We'll clean her up, sort her out. Might even put a spare wheel on the bonnet just to make it look good. Second thought, let me know what you think of this. So this is what they've done here, right? So let me spin the camera. So they've got this. So you can have it as a tailgate, which I'm assuming was a tailgate at one stage. Do I keep this like this? Or do I get hinges, because all the brackets are in up there to fit it all, and do I get this all put back to the way it was years ago? Let me know in the comments what you think I should do. I'm thinking about turning it back to the way it was. I don't know, just thinking, just brainstorming. Anyway, I'm going to go and have some lunch, and meanwhile I'll let you watch this, and we'll go from there, I guess. Series 2 Land Rover. Oh, and I couldn't find a plate. Unless I was looking in all the wrong places, but someone told me it was beyond the bulkhead, but I can't seem to find it, so let me know what you think it is. Is it Series 2A or Series 2B? Everyone keeps telling me it's just a Series 2. But I can't seem to find a plate anywhere that tells me otherwise. There's no plate in there. Some twit's got a tractor in the way. There's no plate around there. No plate around there. I'll open the door because it actually opens. No plate under there. No plate behind there. So I guess these don't have a serial plate on them. That must have been before that time. So yeah, we'll go with it. So, anyway, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, because at some point this will be getting done up, and it will be getting done up to the point where it will be usable and running. There might also be odd bits where we get bits and we might just try and get it running in a future video, just for the fun of it. So I know it's been sat for at least 15 plus years. I found a coin on there that's a 1987 that was in there, and so even if you went from that, you're looking at nearly, okay, so it was, maybe the coin fell in there, so even if you said 35 years, 30 years, it's been sitting for 30 plus years maybe, so we'll go from there. I know I said I was going to end the video, and well, you just got to keep guddling, don't you? So we've changed the tyres on her. We've put Rangemaster 750s on. I can't remember the actual size of them. I've had 3 good ones and 1 partly not so good one, as you can see. But we've also cleared out the water hole that was in there. We've just done that. We pressure washed the whole thing as much as we could from where it was. Got rid of all the clay that was built up around parts of the chassis. The chassis don't look too bad. I don't think these corner pieces are original. I think they have been welded on, but adds character. The chassis has got a few soft spots in it. The bulkhead has as well. Bulkhead probably is patchable, but I seriously think maybe getting a new chassis and a bulkhead for it, and then paint the bulkhead and chassis black and the bulkhead this blue, whatever this Land Rover blue is. But that's the colour we want to do it. I think I should know, because I think I got a mate that painted a Rover very similar to that. So we'll try and get it done up that colour. We also put a spring on the handbrake, not that you can see it from this angle. So we put a spring on under here and freed up the handbrake. There you go. So now that all works. So we can actually park it somewhere and put the handbrake on and know that we're a lot safer. I do keep getting a whiff of petrol every now and then. So whether that is because of these lines here perished, or whether it's just because maybe it's coming through here, or maybe there's a fuel line that's semi-gone. The only thing next we've got to do is, once I lift this bonnet up, is just get the air compressor, blow off any water that's sitting on the engine. We don't want that getting into anywhere it shouldn't be. We didn't give it a thorough clean because I didn't really want to get water into all the wrong places, because that would have just been stupid. So we we've literally done just a little bit. And yeah, we'll go along and see if we can blow it off. Then we'll get some WD-40, spray up a few linkages, and let her settle, and that'll be where she stays for now, is the plan. So, it is a Series 2. It is very serious. I'd just like to let you know. It is serious. It is a Series 2A. I will, 2 seconds. It is a Series 2A, and it's, was it a Series 2A? Yeah, I think it was. I'll put a picture up. Air compressor leads all tied up. I'll have a look at that, double check. Series 2A, there you go. So, I'll just go and blow this off for a second. So, I've blown and give it a bit of a clean up. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame about the bulkhead, really. The doors were on, but oh well. You know, I can't complain. It's a good rowing machine. So, the carburetor, I don't know what this little line here does. It connects down to the distributor somehow, so maybe it's like a turbo or something. I don't know. But anyways, I didn't give this a thorough clean in here because I really didn't get water into anything I shouldn't have. Oil is good. It has got oil. It has got plenty of oil. I've pulled the dipstick out already, but there you go. So it's got oil. Smells of gasoline. Smells old. So we might drop the oil out of this, put some fresh oil in it, and then I think what we'll do is we'll try and get a battery connected up to it and just get it to turn over and see how we get on from doing it like that. I might have another coil, so we might bypass that coil because I doubt that coil is probably going to work the way the cables are, so we'll probably bypass that and go from there. But there she is. She looks quite good with the next wheels on, and I'm looking forward to being able to take her for a drive into the city. Don't know what the wife will think. And it even comes with a back seat for the kids to sit in there. So I do think that what I'll probably end up doing, because obviously every vehicle to me has got to have a purpose, even if it's a tractor. You know, we're not getting them to do up to look at. We're going to use them. So what I might end up doing is seeing if I can get 2 of these and set another one up on that side. I doubt it does mean putting holes into the bodywork, but I think just having a seat, because we've got 2 kids, they'll be able to sit on either side, and yeah, we'll be able to bimble out with them, bimble around the countryside, and have fun. And the plus side is, like, I do want to get all this sorted. I think that I'm actually going to do this up originally, not how they've done it. Because I think it is. The other thing is, I'd like to put a tow hitch on the back of it for the sake of tow hitch reasons. Not sure if we got another chassis, if the tow hitch setup is different or if it's like that. I'm hoping that would be alright because I could put a ball hitch on there. It's just so if we need to move it or something, we can. The axles, rear axle has got quite a bit of rust build up in places, but I don't think it's anything substantial. The exhaust, for what it is actually in pretty reasonably good nick. It's missing a bracket off at this end here, but this tailpipe's been cut. So I think a new tailpipe on there, but we'll probably end up getting a complete new brackets and everything on for it anyway. All the brakes will rebuild, brake pipes will have to change because they look about as crusty as crusty. And yeah, wiring harness is pretty much shot, as you can see. So new wiring harness may be in need, but yeah, other than that, I think she looks pretty dang good. So we are going to give this a good rebuild. We're going to rebuild the axles, put new springs and shocks on it, new U-bolts, new brakes, new bearings, new everything. Literally give her a complete overhaul, new seals. The gearbox, we'll get a complete new seal kit and reseal that up completely. So every gasket seal on that we will replace. I don't think the gearbox is going to need to be stripped to be rebuilt because it feels quite nice. It feels nice to put into gear. If I didn't have this in the way, I don't know. I don't know what the can of worms was here, really, but it does go into gear and it feels nice. So the high-low works. I think the diff lock works. So yeah, I think personally the gearbox is good. I think it just needs all the oil drained out of it, good pressure wash and things. So I think what we'll probably end up doing when it comes to the rebuild situation is we will take it all apart and sand all the parts down we want to paint everything up. If we get a new chassis, we'll take the axles off, rebuild the axles, and then transfer it all onto the next chassis. Because I think it would make life a little easier. When it comes to the engine, we are going to check tappets, valves, compression, and things like that. If it's low, then we've got to decide whether we're going to rebuild this engine or if we're going to put a diesel in. I think personally we'll probably end up rebuilding this because I don't know. I think it's got a lot of potential. So I'm not sure whether that there is meant to have something in it or not. Is that like a return, or is that meant to be like that? I don't know, so we'll find out. We'll probably get a new regulator for it. Dynamo, I'd imagine, would be alright. I don't know what any of this is going to be like. If it even still has fluid in it. No. So we'll clean up all those little things, sand them down, paint them up. I guess these would have been painted black originally. Redo that, clean that up, and yeah. So other than a new wiring harness, because this wiring harness is very, very sketchy looking, it doesn't look all too bad. I really want to know what that switch is for. I think I know. It says for cold start, so it's connected to that. So what happens when you push that? You pull the choke, because I'm assuming that is the choke. What electrically would that have to operate to for a choke was? Huh? Explain to me. I'm confused on that matter. Not that the choke cable moves, but well, it does move. So that goes out there. Doesn't do anything to that. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. Because it does move. So that can be pushed down there. So if I now push it forwards back in, it then pushes that down. So what does that operate electrically then? When you pull the choke out, it does something with wires. They're green. Maybe it's for a light in here. Maybe it tells you when you got the choke on. Maybe not either. You got fuel, main beam, amps. I've got a couple of fancy lights. I still keep getting a whiff of petrol and it bugs me. Not that I don't mind the smell of petrol, but I don't know where it's coming from. That switch works. I guess this would be the start button. That is seized up. I'm assuming. So I'm guessing these starter motors didn't have solenoids on them. I don't know. What do you reckon on that one? I don't know much about Series 2s. Series 3s I know a bit about. But Series 2s I'm a bit rusty. But I'm not going to beat out of the bush about it. I would hate to have to change the starter motor on this, mind you. So that part of the mudguard's rotted off. So we need an inner wing for the mudguard. This part here. But I'm sure we can make that panel up. It's only a metal panel. In fact, isn't that what Land Rover is? Just metal panels. So, let's have a look-sees under here. Well, there's a starter motor. And it doesn't have a solenoid on it. So yeah, I guess you just whack power straight onto that and should. How does it know when to engage or not? Confused. She is well lubricated. I didn't want to wash it all too much because I felt like if I did, I would it would lose its anti-rust prevention system. But so yeah, I think it's got potential, boys. The thing is, I really want to try and start it. So do I sort out that terminal and put a lead on it and run just straight to a Fordson solenoid, just so I can have a go? I don't know. Maybe I should be patient, but it'd be nice to hear it fire. Even if it just fired and popped once or twice. But I think I'll probably get my Uncle Mike around to help with that. He knows a lot about these. The old timers all do anyway, because that's what they mainly used. So yeah, so there you go. Series 2A, and we're going to work out what line it is from the serial number. If I think the serial number correct, Mundo, it's 2420811 So I thought if it started with a 1, it meant it was a 2. I'll have to look this up maybe. Okay, let's look up this and then I'll get back to you. So, as you can see, I've done a bit of research. It turns out this was built probably around 1966-67. It's a Suffolk sort of one according to the online. But anyway, as you can see, we've also got some aerial shots. So it does mean we have purchased a drone, and soon there will be some videos coming up of drone shots. So don't forget to subscribe and comment, and we'll see you soon.